a.m. and 20.1 degrees. 20 degrees over wind. Not bad, not bad. It is Tuesday, 5th of August, and I tell you what, we'd better do this. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and I've got to say thank you and welcome to everybody that's tuned in, be it on YouTube, Facebook, all the media. It's nice to have you guys on board. It really, really is. And today I'm really, really excited because we're talking to John Merchant from the band Ghosts of Sunset. I got to thank him for the voice drops he sent us as well. Very, very cool. But having said that, we better get into it. What do you reckon? Here's Ghosts of Sunset on Galaxy with Tonight. So, that gives us a couple of minutes.
Cool.
And
well, I really appreciate you guys having me. I really do. Any opportunity to spread the word is always appreciated. So thank you so much.
We are in every English-speaking country in the world, and some that aren't.
Fantastic.
Oh, John,
fantastic.
Honestly, I don't know how that works, but I'm going to take it. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, you may incidentally find yourself involuntarily laughing at some stages through this. I'll apologise now.
No, I love it. I love it.
I like to put a bit of humour. I used to be a stand-up comedian once upon a time.
Holy smokes. Now, that is the bravest thing I think a person can do. That is incredibly brave to perform live stand-up comedy. That's...
The very first time I ever did it, my butt was tighter than a goldfish. I'd be very honest with you. And it really didn't help because I was delivered to the back of this building knowing that I was going to go on stage telling jokes. And I been racking my brain about that. But the driver says, and he said very coyly, just go and knock on the door. Right? So I went and knocked on the door and he's out of there. Gone, right? And I'm looking at this car disappearing down this dark alleyway, thinking, okay, and then the door opens up and this mammoth of a body, just the torso, is standing in the doorway and he looks down at you and goes, you're the new comedian. Oh. And I went, yeah. And a hand comes out, he pulls me and he goes, be funny. There's the stage.
Oh boy, yeah.
And that's why my butt was puckered, to be honest with you.
Well, it would pucker anybody's for sure.
It scared the heck out. This guy was like a gorilla. He really was. But it ended up, to be very honest with you, he was a gentle old soul. He was a really nice guy.
Nice.
Yeah. So
you lucked out.
Yeah, he apparently did it to everybody that came to that door.
Yeah. little hazing process.
Yeah.
Make sure you're ready for the stage.
Initiation time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today, believe me, absolutely elated. We're talking to John Merchant from the band Ghosts of Sunset. Welcome, John.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. It really, really is. And I got to say how humbled I am to meet you and absolutely loving your work. And believe me, tonight, music to drive fast to. It really is. And I like to drive fast, I got to be honest. So absolutely loving your work. And as an engineer, not only as a DJ, but as an engineer, I've sort of matured over the 40 odd years that I've been doing it. I love to be able to break down other engineers' work, reverse engineering. Yeah. And when I was listening to your music, I absolutely love the quality and what your engineers have done with this piece. So tell me about tonight. Give me a little insight about this track.
About the track, yeah, it was one of those songs we were looking for. We're big in Ghost of Sunset. We have influences in the pop realm for sure. And what I call pop is 60s, 70s stuff. Everything from Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, Beatles, to great 70s pop. We grew up on 70s radio, which was in the States was everything from the Association and Earth, Wind and Fire to Bobby Gentry, Ode to Billy Joe, stuff like that. But with tonight, we wanted to really drive something home, a little punkier in attitude, maybe a little closer to to some of the punkier stuff from bands like Faster Pussycat or Rose Tattoo. We were looking for that kind of don't bore us, get to the chorus business. We wanted it to be high energy and straight, straight up guitars, and that's what we got, I think.
Well, I think you really have achieved that, and believe me, John, you're talking my language, and I think you're also talking my era, if you know what I mean. And believe me, every one of those loved and played many, many times on radio through my career, anyway.
It's funny you had played Billy Squires 2 Days Gone, and I was in a cover band that actually covered that song off Don't Say No. So yeah, we're in the same boat here.
Absolutely. But this is not just the genre that we play here at Galaxy. Literally, we're multi-genred. We kind of cover as many bases as possible. Believe me, in my radio career, I used to go from radio station to radio station, because of the packages they offer at the time.
Sure.
The problem is they all specialized in one kind of music. You've got rock, you've got reggae, you've got, you know what I mean, right? It was all segmented in nice little pigeonholes. Well, here at Galaxy, we've frapped that and put it all in.
Beautiful.
Sooner or later.
And that's perfect because Ghost of Sunset is that's what we do when we're making the music is we want to open the door to all those influences, not just specific to our genre, but we want to have all, because we grew up on all of that. We didn't just listen to one style of music. We listened to everything from the 50s early rock and roll into all the 60s classic Byrds and Buffalo Springfield and the Doors, and into the 70s, of course, and that we talked about, and the 80s. I would say our roots lie certainly in that 80s, what has kind of become, known as hair metal. To me, it was just, poofy-haired rock and roll, but it was still rock and roll at its core, and I can draw a line from all that music back to the Stones and Zeppelin and The Who. So it's all, it's kind of just tapping into that big song that's always going and taking our little piece out of it,
Exactly. I got to agree with you too. Kind of was expecting a bit of Deep Purple thrown in there as well, but
Oh yeah, love Purple. Love Purple. Love them.
Really do. Having said that, and I think it's time that we give a shout out to Judith Foster. Believe me, lady does such a great job as a promoter, and got to say thank you, Judith. Now, John, tell me a little bit about Ted Long.
Oh yeah, my partner. So he and I grew up together. We went to high school together. So we are, and shortly out of high school, we started making music together. I think we're coming up, if I'm going to get the number wrong, but I'm going to say we've been making music together for 35 years, maybe. We played in cover bands. We grew up playing, we grew up in the 80s, so we were playing that style of music. In the 90s, we had a band that was a little more akin to the Black Crowes, because we liked that kind of, hippie-ish, 60s, 70s rock and roll vibe. But yeah, my partner Todd is he really is. He's, for lack of a better word, he's like a Dave Grohl. He plays drums, he plays guitar, he plays bass, he plays piano, he sings, he writes. He's that guy. He's been that guy since we were kids. He was the guy in school that if you had a guitar and you wanted a drummer, you were courting that. You were trying to, get him in your band.
He to me sounds like the musical savant.
He really is. He grew up in a musical family. His folks played. He was just like myself and a million others of us. we were all in our basement grinding away at it, and it's funny. It's the cool thing about this thing is even at here where I'm at in my career now, there are still days you pick up an instrument and you find something new on it, and that's timeless. That keeps you motivated, even when you're starting to, certainly, even as a kid, you're getting frustrated. It's when you learn that Purple riff, right? Now you're playing not just a riff of Smoke on the Water, but you can play the verse, and you've got that cadence down. Now it's starting to sound like the song. Those things just, it feeds itself, and he really is a savant like that. He can play and write and sing harmony. He's just a spectacular musician.
Absolutely love it, I do. Now, I absolutely respect this track. I really, really do. I've got to be honest with you. It took me a little bit to get down and figure it out when I first heard it. And believe me, I listen to music all the time, literally in my car. And there's a couple of reasons for that. When we first started doing this about 11 years ago, everybody was saying, you got to do this interview, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. And we just didn't have enough time. And I was getting too influenced, by outside influences. Whereas as an engineer myself and as a radio announcer and having a number of other roles that I play within radio, I decided, I'm going to listen to it in my car. Now, don't get me wrong, I've got a very, very good stereo in my car. And so I go driving. Now, I don't get any information at all, literally none at all. All I get is the music. No intro, no telling me what the artist is and or the title track, anything like that. It's just a USB that Barbara gives me that I Bluetooth to my stereo and I go driving, right?
Yes.
And I usually go driving out through the fire breaks. We're in between three major cities, and I know where all the keys and everything are left for the fire breaks for the forestry. So I usually, go for a bit of a black, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I like to drive sideways, okay? Fair enough,
No more,
and I like to turn up the stereo at the same time. Oh, by the way, the second reason why I do it is, well, nobody else wants to drive with me.
So it's perfect, right?
It is,
you and your music, you're alone.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, I heard this for the first time driving, and I thought, afterthought, I'm going to have to ask you, what makes this so popular? Believe me, 1,753 people have been requesting it since we've been playing it.
Oh, great. Well, thank them, and I'll thank them. You know what? I don't know. Again, with the song Afterthought, it was boiling it down, Again, it's that idea that you want those, for me personally, I love everything, I love the band, and I love even some Grateful Dead stuff. I'll let a song unfold 5-6 minutes, right? But in the genre we kind of work in, we have to get, if you're in your car and you have I have your attention for 3 minutes. We have to get to that chorus. We have to get that energy out. And by the second chorus, I need you to at least be able to roughly remember how to sing along. By the third one, I hope you're singing, It's just that. It's, with Afterthought, with Tonight, with most of the stuff we write, it's trying to pack in a narrative with some sense of story, right? A character arc. I know that sounds a bit ambitious and maybe even a little pompous, and I don't mean it to, but you got to have something. Otherwise, and as much as I love it, otherwise everything is she loves you, yeah, right? Which is great, but we work hard on developing in 3 minutes, these little 3-minute windows, 4-minute windows. We're trying to develop characters. We're trying to establish relationships within the song. And Afterthought does that, I think.
Absolutely. And believe me, it was the first song that I heard from Ghosts of Sunset. You're right, here at Galaxy. Here's Afterthought. Hey, Phil and John, you okay?
Everything's going great. Thank you so much.
Nice. Do you remember William Shatner?
Sure. Captain Kirk?
Yeah, I see he was in the news this morning. His government has requested him to remove his line of lingerie.
His line of lingerie?
Yeah. Apparently Shatner Panties isn't a good name.
Oh, I'm using that. Oh, that's going to be big. That's going to be big. You wait. I have a gig later this week. Oh, yeah. That's going to come out for sure.
Oh, good.
Giving you full credit, of course. Giving you full credit.
Okay. Well, you...
Shatner Panties. That's great. And here I am. And by the way, great setup. By the way, I can tell you're a professional comedian. Good setup. I hooked right in. Really, Shatner was in the news, I thought to myself.
Yeah.
Yes, good setup, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. It wasn't an afterthought.
Yeah. Man, this guy's a pro.
Oh, dear.
So I got to ask you before the song, before we're back on, your comedy, were you a situational kind of comedian? Were you using current topics? Were you just, what was your bit? How did you work?
I used to pick on the crowd.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Literally, I'd start off with something in the news,
Yeah, well, observational humor. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we better get back to it. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting here with dead air. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today we're talking to John Merchant from the band, of course, Ghosts of Sunset. Absolutely loving the work, I really am. And John, got to be honest with you, as I was saying, I used to start off with something in the news, something much like, I don't know whether you would have a SPCA over there, Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, in your country?
We do.
You do?
Yeah, we do.
Well, again, in the news this morning, they're having a bit of an argument with our government about round bales of hay. Yeah, they're not thinking
What's the issue?
Well, they're not thinking the animals are getting a square meal.
Oh, man. Oh, man. It's there. It's all there.
It's right
well
there.
Done.
Literally,
well done.
Believe me, it's on film. You'll be able to go back and go, what did you say about those bales of hay? I'm going to get it sooner or later. And believe me, you keep the video. You might be able to use it as...
I'll need it for reference for sure.
Absolutely. For sure. Absolutely. And, well, I hope you enjoy using them. I do. Now, I got a young lady. Her name is Tina, coming out of Kansas City, Kansas, and she's asking, John, as a fan, how do we get hold of you? Are you on X? Are you a talker? But more importantly, do you respond?
Of course, yeah. We're on all the social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc. And we do respond. I mean, it's, we're at a place in this career where we're pretty do-it-yourself kind of guys. And, I just did a radio show here in the States and had a woman reach out, had some questions about the band and where to find material. And I got her number and texted her back, and we do that. Of course, we want to interact because, number one, first of all, thank anybody who's interested in the band and wants to know more. That means a lot to us. But we're music fans, too. So we end up connecting with people who like Ghosts of Sunset, but we all have some mutual things we like that aren't Ghosts of Sunset, right? So I always say it's like, it's like listening to records at your house. It's just we happen to make the record that we're listening to sometimes. But yeah, we always try to connect and because it's a gift, it's a gift when somebody takes time out of their day, your listeners or anyone else who takes time out of their day to spend it with us and some stories we're telling. I think it connects us, and now more than ever, without getting too sappy about it, connection's what we needed. We're losing that. I grew up in a time when that connection was as important as you gathered up an armful of records and went to someone's house and three other people had an armful of records, and you might sit there all night, you know, and talk about music and talk about why it moved you and what excited you about it and how cool the cover was, or, you know, and to us that's what Ghost of Sunset really is about. So yeah, we're always happy to communicate, and I'm always thrilled when someone takes the time.
Much respect to you for that. And believe me, I've got to be honest with you. Anybody reaches out to me, I never reply at all. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that really I have no time. But I do have I do have people for me do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, in my name, they're responding. You know, sooner or later, I'll get the message if it's important enough. You know what I mean? If not, it's just going to be a sociable and thank you very much and all of that. And believe me, don't stop annoying them. Please.
Well, you know, it's the same thing for you. You're doing the same thing. You guys are doing the same thing we're doing. And all we're doing is sharing something that means so much to us. You know, music has given me, it's given me everything. It's given me, you know, a lot of connections with other human beings. It's given me a lot of joy in my life. It's broke my heart before. You know, it's been a cruel mistress at times. But,
you know, John, it's strange you say mistress.
No,
well, the thing is this, literally, I think I was about 5 years of age when I put my first two record players together.
Okay.
Right?
Huh.
And all my life, no matter what young lady that I've happened to have the pleasure of having the company of in my life, I've always been honest and said music is my first mistress.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And to be honest with you, she's the one that's going to kill me.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And you know, right from the start, right to the end, she's always going to be there. You know what I mean?
So, you know, what more can, really in a pretty, you know, in a at times confusing and, you know, question-provoking world, music from day one for me, and I don't remember a time in my life I wanted to be a cowboy or a police officer or a fireman. All I wanted to do was play the guitar and make music, and it's been there through it all. You know, it's gotten me through an awful lot of things, and it continues. I mean, I'm obviously old now and I've lived a life, but it still continues. I still get the same pleasure out of, you know, hearing that song that someone like you played. That if I'd been, you know, had I been listening and I heard Billy Squier's 2 Days Gone, it would have brought back that memory of being in my buddy's, you know, living room with Don't Say No, and I think we had Tale of the Tape there by Billy Squier, and that what it brought. So, you know, what you're doing is as important as anything, any form of communication on the planet, because it's real and it's direct and it's honest.
Well, believe me, we are going to take it to a whole new level very, very shortly, and I really want to talk to you about that because it really is very exciting. It really, really is. And at the same time, I do want to talk to you about putting you into another media that can, give you that promotion more so than what we can here at Galaxy. And believe me, we've got to stretch all around the world. So achieving something a little more different and a little more is something phenomenal in its own self. And we only put the best of the best forward for this, believe me. And I want to talk to you about that after this. But I think it would be remiss of me if we didn't get into, tell me about Hide Her Heart.
Yeah, you know, first of all, that the title, you know, the title has been used before. I've heard other, I think, Hide Your Heart. I've heard it, you know, the title felt a little cliche at first, but the story wasn't. It was a human, you know, it was a human condition story. And that condition is literally when someone, and we've all said it, I know you've said it and I've said it, you know, I'm done with this. I give up on this love thing. No more relationships. I'm a lone wolf here. You know, I'm out for number one. And it's the fact that after being hurt as much as we have in this thing, you know, in love, because that's what love is about, to feel it and really have it is to lose it and mourn it and know what that's like. Hide Her Heart was really saying, you know, it was that proclamation of I'm done. No one will hurt me again. And if you live your life like that, no one will hurt you again. You will miss out on experiences that, will make your life richer. Sometimes the heartache makes your life richer. I know for me, the broken heart times, you talk about music being a friend. Oh, it gets pretty depressing, But there's something in the music that would bring me out and then eventually get me hopeful again that I would find that person. And that's what kind of Hider Heart's about.
John, I'm sure we're brothers. Somewhere along the way, I'm sure we are.
I hope so.
Yeah, believe me, I really, really do. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Ghosts of Sunset on Galaxy. Hide her heart. How many countries tuned in?
164.
Okay, that's not bad. 164 countries tuned in.
Oh, wow.
That's not too bad.
Great. That's not bad at all.
How many cities?
Certainly folks I can't call.
Yeah, I don't want to buy them all a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's still a couple coming on.
Still a couple coming in.
1684.
Okay.
No. 1685.
1,600. No, not 6,100.
Yeah.
6,185.
Yeah.
It's more. Okay. 6,185 cities tuned in.
Wow. Great.
I'm not going to name
Great. Great. Yeah, exactly.
But,
I'll write them all down and send thank you letters.
John, at the end of this, the number that you really want, literally, is how many IP addresses are tuned in listening to this on the internet. Okay?
Okay.
I'll give you that one at the end of this, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Excellent. Well, I'm already thrilled to be here and so appreciative that you guys, the support you're giving us and the exposure you're giving us, it really does. We're at that point where we move this thing down the tracks ourselves,
Yep,
and I appreciate anything that furthers that for us.
Well, John, let me tell you straight up, we only play the best of the best.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
That's a huge honor for us.
That's us. Now, at the same time, the breakfast show is not programmed by human hands, literally. It's all done by what we call the noise.
Okay.
And that's the fan base who get in touch with us through all of the medias that we have. That's all collated by our receptionist. She puts it together on a USB. I take that to production about 1:30 in the morning. We whack it into the computer. The computer chooses what is the most requested tracks and formulates a breakfast show. And I see your name in there almost every morning.
Excellent.
It's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. And this morning I'm talking to John Merchant from the band Ghosts of Sunset. Now, John, I got to thank you, by the way, for the voice drops that you sent us. We are using those. And
fantastic.
I like to encourage the boys in production to have a little play with them as well, see what they can do with music and bits and pieces like that. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Overlays and stuff like that. Because, believe me, they're very talented young men.
Excellent.
They really, really
thank
are.
them for me.
And they've learned a lot from me over the years. And how the heck they've put up with me, I don't know. One's called Gonzo and one's called Toblerone.
All right. Well, thank them for their efforts on our behalf.
I will do. And simply, if you were wondering why Gonzo and Toblerone, well, one has a Gonzo on his desk and the other one likes chocolate.
No, fair enough. That's perfect. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's far better to call him Toblerone than calorically challenged, right?
Yeah, it seems more respectful.
Yeah, he seems to think it that way too. I don't know. I'm a Kiwi. I just say it as it comes. It happens like that. It really, really does, especially around here. Now, at the same time, John, and believe me, you're lucky so far I haven't asked you if you're a vegan, and I probably will the next segment in, literally, because
Be ready.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of a myth. I really am.
Okay,
Now,
I'll be ready.
as I was saying to you before, we've actually been doing this now for about 11 years for Galaxy. Unfortunately, I have worked in other radio stations over the years, and some of them have been talkback radio stations. So that combined with doing nightclubs and doing all sorts of pop and rock and all sorts of radio stations and everything comes together, and that makes the guy who's actually talking to you at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Sure.
And somebody was saying to me the other day, it's going to be hard to find somebody else that does what you do. You know, what's he going to be like? Because we are preparing to do something pretty monumentous in another country. Okay?
Oh, nice.
And all I could say to the guy was, who said it had to be a he?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Amen.
To
Right
me,
on.
to me, it's on merit, on, you know, how you doing my job kind of thing, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
And
Sure.
once I get interested in you, maybe if you want to work with me, we can get something together, and before you know it, you're going to be the hottest thing in this industry. And I have actually found somebody to do that, to be very, very honest with you. And I think she's only just about 20 years of age now, which means
Excellent.
she's got a whole life ahead of her. And the entertainments that she's going to come up against is going to be phenomenal, literally. So, having said that, I will fill you in on all of that once we've spoken after this. But let's move on to Love Ain't Enough, because believe me, this song, for me, to be honest with you, I don't often change the music in my car permanently.
Okay.
I usually have, you know, a playlist that I like. I've actually put 2 tracks in. One of them is Love Ain't Enough. The other one, She's Been Coming Around. So,
Oh, good.
first of all, let me know, what is it that made me, out of all of the others, choose Love Ain't Enough?
You know, I like to think that it's I hope it's something that connected with you, right? Something that resonated with you, and it's universal, right? And that idea of love ain't enough. You know, we like to believe, I mean, we all do, that love can conquer all. We've heard that. But really, when you get down to it, sometimes just loving someone isn't enough to do a host of things, either rekindle something that's been lost through hurt, through mistakes made, whatever that might be. Sometimes love isn't enough to just save somebody. We've all lost somebody we loved, right? We've watched them self-destruct in a way, and you just can't love someone back from that, you know? And so I think it's that. It's universal to know that, yeah, love makes the world go around, and love is an amazing thing. And it's that thing that, you know, it's like the hot stove that burns us, and we're never going to touch the hot stove again, and we end up with our hand on the hot stove. And that's love, you know. And sometimes it just isn't enough to get over or by obstacles and things in your life, you know. Sometimes it takes a little more. It takes a little grit, determination, you know, all those things to persevere.
You know, John, you've got every woman in this room nodding their head right now. Well done.
Good.
You're right here at Galaxy. Here's John. And of course, we're talking about Todd as well, from the band Ghosts of Sunset. Love Ain't Enough. I had somebody talking to me in my headphones at the same time.
Which must just be unnerving.
No, I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
You get used to it. I've been doing this for about 11 years. And as I was saying to you, for 11 years I've been trying to come to the bottom of a myth. Now, first of all, you're not a vegan, are you?
I'm not.
You're a meteorologist like me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I try to watch kind of what I'm taking in, but yeah, definitely not a vegan.
Yeah, the wife tries to watch what I'm taking in as well. You could be a strain of any sort, but never mind. Anyway, have you ever tried a vegan sausage?
No, I've done some of the Impossible vegetable based, like burger type patties.
Mhm.
But I've never, nothing like a sausage.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, no, you see, I'm trying to figure out whether they're made of real vegans or not.
You know, I'm your target audience.
Every-
I come, you throw the hook out and I instantly bite and you're reeling me in every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep, you're good.
Every
You're
time.
good. Yeah, I got you.
I'm your dream audience. I'm what you want. I buy in right away.
Well, are you a guy that likes to think out of the box?
I think I do.
Okay.
I think I do from time to time.
Well, you remember in Second World War history, the kamikaze pilots, right?
Sure.
Why the hell did they give them crash helmets?
That's a great idea. Okay, so I've often wondered why they were in uniform.
But they
Like,
look-
what's the point?
well, hold
I
on.
mean, what do you? And I haven't researched it enough, but I often have wondered, like, what is that? If you're going on a kamikaze mission, is there a build up to that? Is there a last meal request that maybe you get? Is there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
It's you're going out for the last time.
there actually was, and at the same
Okay.
time, they used to wear a scarf, if you remember, and each one had a stitch in it, which was a prayer. And the more stitches, the more prayers they had. The reason why they put the uniforms on them is, well, quite frankly, if you were going to recover a body out of the ocean, would you want it to be naked?
Yeah. Well, of course.
No, I'd shoot it and
I
sink
would
the
not.
bloody thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. I'll be damned. Yeah. I've often wondered about that.
Yeah,
Often wondered.
no.
Now you know.
You watch all these dead bodies floating up on the ocean, on the surface. Oh, God. That
Yeah,
would
thank
really
God.
put you off fishing, wouldn't it?
Naked. With these naked
It would
bodies.
definitely keep me on shore. That's for sure. That's for sure.
You'd be hoping for heaps of seaweed.
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
That's right, you're right here at galaxy107 FM, and for those of you listening to the music on the radio right now, you'll be very, very happy to know that you missed one of the worst jokes ever. But, at the same time, somebody did say to me in my headphones, could you imagine all those gluteus maximuses, popping up and then washing up? Isn't that the land
Washing
of
up in the water?
yeah, land of the rising bums or something?
The rising bums. Bravo. Bravo.
I could have said worse, really. I could have, but I didn't
Sure.
want to spend $2 in the swear jar or something like that, So
No.
yeah, I'm here to entertain, not cost myself money. Anyway, I really do appreciate your candor as well. Nice to have you on board, my friend. And believe me, I'm really, really excited about she's been coming around. Now, this is one that I listen to on the way home at night and back at work again at night. Literally, I'd be lucky.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to get out of here by about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then back here by about 9:30. So
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Okay.
there's a lot to do. There really is
Yeah,
a lot
amen.
to do. So and lots of hours put in. So I want to know about this, but you guys, you first debuted in 2020,
Mhm.
5 years ago, but you guys have been around forever, and you've been off and on in different bands and bits and pieces like this. Now, I see here you've been in Dutch Henry, right?
Right. Yep. That was kind of an American, it's called Americana or alternative country music. I always cosmic country it's been called, but it had its roots in some traditional country music with, rock and roll guitars. And it was, when we were doing it, I will say here in the States, it hadn't quite taken off yet. It had little pockets around the country. Now it's a little more popular. You see a guy like Jason Isbell, who's a big singer-songwriter and came from a band called the Drive-By Truckers. But that band it wasn't anything new. It owed as much to the Byrds and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and Neil Young and that as it did, the Replacements. We were all big Replacements fans. We covered Bowie tunes. We played in a night when we played, mostly our own music, but we might cover Johnny Cash and Iggy Pop in the same night. And to me, I can connect those things, right? I can connect Johnny Cash and Iggy Pop through attitude, right? Through that through attitude and truthfulness. I can see the connection between, the Sex Pistols, the immediacy of the Sex Pistols and the immediacy of 1956 Elvis Presley. I can hear it and feel that. So, yeah, Dutch Henry, Todd and I toured in Dutch Henry for probably 10 years. We're in the band for quite a while. Had some success with it. But the Ghost of Sunset idea came up just as a whim. I was out running. I came home. I called Todd, and I said, hey, no one's ever done a concept album kind of like VH1's Behind the Music. They all have the same arc. Band starts in small town, band gets famous, band screws it up with drugs and alcohol, band goes bankrupt, they make their big comeback. So we kind of designed that in our EP, which was called Headed West. That is a concept EP, which is, again, ambitious, but follows this fictional band from a town in, kind of the Midwest of the United States, a band that goes out to California to make it in the music industry in the 80s, just like, the Sunset Strip scene. And that's where our name comes from, the Ghosts of Sunset, the Ghosts of the Sunset Strip.
Well, you just screwed up my question anyway. Because I really did want to know where the name come from. But believe me, fantastic name. Really, really is a fantastic name. I'm loving it. I really, really am. So, she's been coming around. Now, as I say to you, I listen to this track as I go home at night and as I come back again at night. It seems to be stuck in my head.
Good.
It's one of these tracks that I just can't seem to get enough of. And believe me, I'm noticing that the noise are the fans that listen to us, literally. And we call them the noise because they're not shy. They're really not shy. Good. They let us know on all multimedias what they like and what track they like. And that's where our receptionist gets all the information to put into the morning breakfast show, if you know what I mean. So believe me, it all goes through poor Sarah. And literally, we're fascinated about how many people like per track, per song, you know what I mean?
Right.
And as of this morning, there was 2,893 requests for it. And believe me, I know tomorrow it is going to be a lot more. I just want to know, what is it? Why is it forever in my head? Why am I always wanting to hear this track? What's the story here?
Let me ask you this: Do you have any background with Cheap Trick, the American band Cheap Trick, the Cars? That it touches on those things, so it's got a familiarity to it, and there's a lot of truth in it too. Things that happen, and we've all had that, right? It'd be an ex-lover or someone in our life who all of a sudden, you think you're either over that person or they're out of your life forever, and they start coming around, and it does a slew of things to you. It validates you in some way. It strokes your ego that so-and-so from the before times, right, is still popping up in your life, can't seem to completely remove themselves. And it's also sometimes, it gives you that in your in the current relationship you're in, you can go, well, don't you forget, other people want me too, right? Because she's been coming around, she's been calling, she's telling me that, like the song says, she's telling me you don't appreciate what you have. So it's universal, it's a universal message.
I get it. I do. And by the way, 80s, best era ever. Here's Ghost of Sunset. She's been coming around.
She's been coming around.
How do you feel, John? You okay?
Doing great. Doing
Nice.
great. Really appreciate you having me. Enjoying myself, and I appreciate your kindness.
Oh, believe me. It's all truthful, my friend. It really, really is. Everybody
Well,
here,
thank you.
we're very, very much big fans of your music.
Well, we're big fans of you guys. Thank you for what you do for not just us, but, for all of us in general. We need, the world needs this right now. The world needs something, like your station that connect at any moment. I mean, here I am in the United States, and you have fans from all over the world. We're in this is one thing we can do together. We can listen to this music, we can comment, we can say, hey, I like this song a lot, I'd like to hear it again. And it's just about bringing people together. And it's what music's always done its best. I think at its core, that's what music's always done well, is it's brought people together for a number, it's also brought people together to oppose as well, that, and especially, in the United States, in the 60s, music was kind of it was the impetus for a lot of revolution in this country.
Look, I remember the women going to the White House, literally into the Senate, to try and ban certain bands in certain music. And of
Sure.
course, let's not forget, John Denver went and actually spoke
to
up and
Congress.
said, hey, listen, it's all about freedom of speech.
Well, and that was I grew up in that era, and I can tell you, it's hard I have a 17-year-old son. He laughs at it. But there was a time in my young life where I was convinced that they were going to take rock and roll from me. And until you've really had that experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that touched me so deeply and meant so much to me. And I was the record comes out tomorrow guy, so I'll be in line tonight kind of guy.
Yeah.
So the thought of losing that was frightening, and it created some real battle lines. I certainly was not, on Tipper Gore's side. I was on Frank Zappa's side and John Denver's side.
There you go. Bit of Joe's Garage. Good on you, mate.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway,
Right.
we will wrap this up right now. I do have a couple more questions for you. But then
Okay.
after that, please hang in there, because I do want to talk to you about promoting you a bit more, and also a few little insights you'll be interested in. So,
All right, I'm totally.
That's right. Grant, you got to turn the microphone on.
Oh,
It
not
kind of works
again.
better that way. I don't know.
Not again.
That's a rookie mistake, isn't it? It really, really is. Today we're talking to John Merchant from the band Ghost of Sunset, and believe me, it's been very, very entertaining, and have loved every moment of it. Got to thank promoter Judah Fisher for introducing us and allowing us to promote this wonderful, wonderful band. Now, got to ask you, John, just a couple more questions. One is a young lady by the by the name of Robin, coming out of Washington State in Washington, was saying, do you have a merch store? Where can I buy a cap, a koozie, and a t-shirt?
Yeah, that will be. We have a new record coming out the end of this month called California Girl, and of course the single She's Been Coming Around is on the record. But Golden Robot Records. We're hoping to have a site or have a merch store on that site, Golden Robot Records. So
And-
that would put you in contact with some merch.
And that's Judith Fisher, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bingo. Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
I tell you what, why not have a chat to her? If you've got a T-shirt or something, why not have a chat to her? Get her to throw me one down here, and I'd be more than honoured to wear one while I'm doing these interviews.
We'll make sure one gets your way. We'll
Nice.
make sure we'll get some stuff your way for sure.
And I don't know
For sure.
how it is, but believe me, some of our noise has literally says, you know, Grant, while you're doing the interview, I'm actually on the interwebby thing, finding out all about the artist you're wearing at the time.
That's cool.
Today I'm dressed by Jorg, by the way, coming out of Germany. Fantastic,
Killer.
fantastic artist. He really, really is. So, yeah, please. Now, one more question. You did mention a new track coming out in the very, very near future. Will you pass it our way? But more importantly, will you come back for another interview in the near future?
I would love to come back in the future. We'll make sure that new single gets your way. That's called Anywhere But Here. It's out now. We'll make sure that gets to you. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that. And anything you guys need from us, we're glad to provide. We can't thank you and your listeners enough for, supporting Ghosts of Sunset, for being involved. I encourage everybody, if you got questions or comments, or heck, if there's something you didn't like, you're more than welcome to write. We'll respond, and we will we'll continue to keep swapping records with you like we're doing now. So yeah, we appreciate everything. We really do.
Very, very cool. Pass on love and respect to Todd and everybody in the background. Believe me, you need them. You really do. You really do. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. I'm very, very humbled to meet you, Sarah. I really, really am. And I'm looking forward to continuing working with Ghosts of Sunset here at Galaxy. Now, in the meantime, folks, you have a very happy and successful day. Join myself and Barbara between 5:30 in the morning and 10 for the breakfast show. You're bound to hear Ghosts of Sunset in there. Guarantee it. In the meantime, happy radio, everyone.